Morning everybody and Merry Christmas. I'm going to have an unhealthy breakfast this morning, so I thought I'd make some fluffy vegan buttermilk pancakes and some garbanzo breakfast sausages because I really like the breakfast sausages and so do the dogs. So I have some garbanzo bean flour. It's 1 cup of garbanzo bean flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and a pinch of Himalayan pink Himalayan salt. So, and I can get rid of those. And I have wheat soy milk, and I'm going to put in, just 1 big teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Now the recipe calls for 1 cup of milk, but I used about 1.25 cups because I like my pancakes just a little thinner. So I'm going to stir up the apple cider vinegar and the milk, and what happens is there's a reaction between the milk and the apple cider vinegar, so we'll just let that set for a couple of minutes and it'll curdle up just like buttermilk. So we'll just let that sit there. Don't need this whisk, and I'll just grab a fork. And mix this up really good and incorporate all the baking powder, the sugar, and the salt with the flour. And the only reason I use the garbanzo bean flour is because it's been sitting in the cabinet for a while and it is gluten-free, so I was like, let me give this a try. So, and typically our pancakes turn out way better than when you buy a pancake mix or something like that. So I would rather have homemade pancakes all the time. And we'll just let that sit there, and my sausage is cooking up, and I'm going to turn the heat down on them because they're going to be done. But they'll brown up nice. They're always really good. So I got a little butter in my big pan that I'm just melting down while I'm waiting on the milk to curdle. And the butter I'm using is Earth Balance original butter. So everything is vegan. Again, vegan, not necessarily healthy, but it's better than the alternative. I think I'll cook with the lid on from now on because I like them moist like that. So, I didn't have a lot of butter in here, but there was a lot of frost on the sausages when I took them out of the freezer. And I just put a little bit of butter in there and I cooked them with the lid on. So it kept that moisture in there, and I think I like that much better. It hasn't been 2 minutes, but you can see that the milk has become really thick with the apple cider vinegar in there. So I'm just going to dump that in. And I'm just going to give this a stir. And again, if it's too thick, I'll just thin it out with a little milk. I really want my little orange spatula. There it is. That way I can get the flour off the sides of the bowl. And you don't have to stir it very long. I just want to knock the clumps down. And by gosh, that looks pretty good, and it looks really foamy, so it's quite a reaction in there. We'll see how that works out. Just going to let that set for a hot minute. There's still quite a bit of, might have to use the whisk on this. The garbanzo bean flour looked a lot finer than all-purpose flour, so I just want to knock out all the dry spots. And we're going to leave it just like that. So I let the batter set for just a couple of minutes and it thickened up a little bit. My pan has been getting hot. I'm cooking on number 5.5 and let's see how one goes. This is supposed to make 4 pancakes, but it looks like it's going to make more than that. And I didn't hear a sizzle come off on the pancakes. And how big is that? Well, here's the plate, and there's pancake. Every video I always see, and they make these fluffy pancakes, they're about this big. And I'm like, who eats pancakes the size of a cup? I want a big pancake. So it looks like I'm starting to get some bubbles already, so that looks good. I'll just check my sausage real quick. Oh yeah. Just a quick flip. And then I can turn these guys off. And it's probably 3 sausages for me and maybe some for the dog. So my first pancake is going, so the first one is always light on one side. I don't know why that is, but it's probably been long enough. Oh yes, look at that beautiful pancake. It turned out wonderful. So I'm sure the second one is going to brown up much better. Oh, so, well, I've got this one cooking, and like I say, the second pancake always comes out nicer and darker. So I just put a little pat of butter on the first one. So that way when I plop the second one on, it'll be nice and melty. I'm typically a 2 pancake guy. This looks like it's going to make 4. So who will help me eat the pancakes? Will you guys help me if I can't eat them all? Yes? Okay, thank you so much. Let's see what this second one came out like. And they come out really fluffy. Well, it's getting a little hot now, so we're going to turn the heat down a little bit. Smack a little pat of butter in here because it's awful hot. So I'm just going to take that off. And you can control the heat by going on and off your stove. Now I'll put a little pat of butter on my second one. I'm fixing my plate, so I got a couple of sausages I'm going to throw on here. And I'm going to leave 1 sausage in the pan for you-know-whos. And because it's Christmas, I'm going to have my special maple syrup that we got from the National Finals Rodeo. So I'll pour that on there. So this is a whiskey flavored maple syrup that we got at the National Finals, and it's probably more expensive than whiskey, but it's not, there's no alcohol in there. It's just the whiskey flavor because they made the maple syrup in the whiskey barrels, so it just took on a slight hint or flavor of it. So I'm going to get out another plate for the DOGs. And their pancakes look like they turned out better than mine, but that's okay. And we'll make this, looks like just this one. It's going to be a big one. Okay, so I'm going to give it a little taste here and see how my garbanzo bean pancakes turned out. That's a different flavor.
But are your pancakes light and fluffy?
Yeah. It has definitely a different texture with the garbanzo bean flour, but they taste like pancakes. It's a pancake. And I gotta have my sausages. Yeah, so I would say the textures, it almost feels a little gritty, but
So you don't recommend using garbanzo bean?
they're good. It's just different. I mean, if you're gonna go gluten free, you have to use the garbanzo bean flour because, let's face it, you can't use flour. So from a gluten free standpoint, it's a really good pancake. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you next time. Bye.